Hello guys, welcome to Popular Facts. This is Emmanuel and our topic today would be about labor in Africa. When I'm in Africa, Nigeria precisely, that's where I come from. I don't know about other countries, but if you have issues with the labor in your country, do hit us with your questions and I'll definitely dig deep into it and be able to elaborate more on it. However, I'm going to proceed by saying about Nigeria now, the labor in Nigeria. Growing up as a child, the only thing I hear about labor is strike, 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 wages. Oh my God. Fortunately, a few days ago, I was going through some topic on labor in other countries, and I found out that the labor in Nigeria is one of the biggest problem with Nigeria. I'm going to elaborate why I said the biggest problem. Everything that happens in Nigeria, we always channel to the government. Do you know that some of these responsibilities are not for the government? Some of these responsibilities are for the different bodies of the government. However, when we talk about workflow, it all has to do with labor. First and foremost, labor talks about schedule, bullying at workstation, and wages. But the only thing we hear about Nigerian labor is all about wages. So when I talk about the labor being focused on wages in Nigeria, strike, 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 they leave the main focus, the main importance of labor, the reason why the organization labor was created. That organization was created to help workers, everybody, when I mean workers in private sector, government sectors, and small-scale businesses as well. The labor force was established just to regulate the way at which an employer treats the employee. So I'm just gonna outline a few reasons why the labor was created. One, they should talk about bullying at workstation. When I talk about bullying, I simply mean in Nigeria I've seen a whole lot of boys flogging their boys. They call it apprentice. Your apprentice is not your slave. Apprentice is overseas as well. We talk about slave trade, we hate slave trade, but we treat our own people like slaves, the same way they treat our own persons during the time of slavery, 2,000 years of slavery. That is the same thing we do. You are a tailor, you are a hairdresser, you are a mechanic, you come late to work, they send you outside to nail in the sun, raise an engine block. That's advanced slavery. It is really bad. Labor should look into that. I would jump past that right now and I'll move about wages. Wages, the labor should be able to regulate that. The wages that the federal government implements as well affects the private sectors at times. So say you're working for a private sector, the government of Nigeria are talking about making 30,000 naira the minimum wage. What is minimum wage? If we talk about minimum wage, it's all about the minimum amount you can be paid. So if the private sector has a minimum wage as well, people would work. The labor should fight for the private sectors too, because they have individuals working with private sectors. We have a lot of private sectors. Labor is set aside for this kind of job. That is the motion. So they can move motions, put in bills and all that to the government, and the government signs this into bill. So that is all about wages, when I'm going to talk about wages. The other part is going to be break. I've seen a lot of tailors, when you do an apprenticeship program, you can't even go on break. You work 8 hours, no break, 9 hours, no break. That is slavery. That's against labor rules. The labor rules as well apply to these persons too, who are into apprenticeship program, private sector. You can't be eating and be jumping up and answering to customers. That is not good. It is not good for your health. It is not good for business too. It's not healthy for business. Labor should look into that as well. If you are doing an 8-hour shift, you should have every privilege to have 3 breaks. 2 15-minute paid break and 1 hour unpaid break. Say in Nigeria where we don't pay per hour, we should be able to give at least a 1 hour or 30 minutes break that is not paid or paid for. So it's all left for labor to put in law and the rules on how that could be done. I know very well, because I studied about labor in Nigeria, that they do have 7-hour shift to have breaks. Do you know that when you're working, if you're working as a full-time in Nigeria, say you're working for a pure water factory, you've worked there for up to 6 months, you should be able to be eligible for 2 weeks sick leave. So say you're sick today and you've worked there for over 6 months, they should be able to pay you for 2 weeks of being sick. But no, labor never looks into that. Workplace hazard, they never look into that. When we say workplace hazard, what are we talking about? I'm working in a pure water factory. I slip off and fall, I hurt my jaw, I hurt my knee. My company has to take care of that. In the process where the company is not taking care of that, you have to go to the labor board, and the labor picks up an issue with the company to see to it that the company takes care of its employees. But no way, we don't see that in Nigeria. The only thing we hear about labor is wages, wages, wages. Too bad, because the basic need, the basic function, the basic responsibilities are not being carried out. I believe these organizations are set aside for them to educate the poor and the uneducated masses what those institutions are all about. I would as well blame the university sector. Studying in Nigeria, you do GST, General Studies. They never even take labor law on General Studies. If it's GST, which every student, even engineering, agriculture, and all that takes GST, there should be something that implements the labor law as well, where you have to study what your right is as an employee. So when you hit the labor market, you definitely know what you are looking up to. An employer gives you a job in Nigeria, no employment letter, too bad. After 3 months of working, you should be able to have an employment letter, be it private, be it apprenticeship, be it from the government. You should have an employment letter. That way you have a backup, you have a contract binding your job with that organization. These are the reasons why labor is set up. So when we talk, now I'm going to go to vacation and sick pay. I'm going to elaborate more on that because I do believe that the work in Nigeria, it's enslaving you. You're a slave in disguise. Just because you can't work for a company for 1 year and not be able to go on vacation and get paid. So I'm working right now as an IT technician. I do have my vacation pay. Every year I have 4 weeks of paid vacation. What is my paid vacation? An accumulated figures from my pay every month goes to my vacation. Every job should have that. Why? Because labor has to look into that. If you work for 1 year, you should have every opportunity to leave the office after 1 year. Go out, relax your head, come back to work. Why you need to do that? Because somebody has to step in as well. You know, if there's a loophole wherever you work in, the reason why I complain about corruption is if there's a loophole where you work in, you've worked there for 20 years and have never gone on vacation, how would somebody else find out what you've been doing under the closet? So we all deserve vacation. You all need time to rest with your family. You all need time to travel. You know, go around the world, go around the state, go see families for 1 month and still get paid the monthly wages. Then we talk about sick, which is part of the vacation fee as well. You have 2 weeks or 1 week sick leave every year. So say I'm sick for 1 week, I should get paid when I'm out of work. Be it private, be it government, be it small business, I should get paid as well. So I believe the Labour Board of Nigeria need to work drastically into the reason why they were established. They should stop talking about wages and focus more on renting the business owner, the employers, and the employees as well. They have a long way to go. So also as the university sectors, they have a long way to go. But adding this into the curriculum of teaching every student what the labor law says. So when you go in there, you know what you're going to face in the labor market. Thank you very much, guys. I'll see you next week on another program.